apologies. My screen's quite dark, but I don't really want to turn up the brightness, otherwise my sleep will all be fucked. We're going to go over Hamza's Triple D lecture. So this is what you need for self-improvement, life, and for business, because all of those things relate with each other. And so this will help you if you are becoming a YouTuber. It'll help you if you're helping chiropractors scale their agencies, whatever fucking business model you want to get into. This will help you for that. This will also help you if you just want to go and attract girls. This will help you in basically every way of life. So this is why I wanted to teach this lesson, so that no matter what business model you're doing, no matter what your biggest focus is, this is going to help you. But I'll make sure to relate most of the examples to business, and then therefore most of the examples to YouTube. Anyone guess what the triple Ds are? The DDD. Well, what do you think they are? Someone write them in the chat. Discipline is one. Yeah, Paris got the first one. Discipline, delayed gratification. David got the second one as well. What's the last one? Discipline, delayed gratification, and dopamine. Darren got the next one as well. That's what it is. Discipline, delayed gratification, and dopamine. And I wanted to first draw your attention to why I chose these pictures in particular. At first, I was just going to put like a random picture here of me like looking good and stuff. And in fact, let me show you the exact picture I was just about to show you, because this will make sense why I'm making this a point. I thought it'd just be like right at the top there. If it's not here in like 2 seconds, then I'll just explain it to you. Yeah, this is the one here. So I was going to put like pictures of me looking good and everything. Okay, here's me in Thailand. Here's like a picture of me shirtless with my girl and everything, right? The reason why I took those off is because I realized here, this picture right now, this was actually not me in a disciplined mode. Like when you see that fancy picture of a young man, like for example, this one, or you see like the picture of me like, oh yeah, look at me guys, I look so cool, right? This is not the disciplined version of me. This was me on holiday. I was high when we took this picture. I'm like, I'm getting clean haircuts and everything, and business is slacking. Basically, everything was just going down. I was being a degenerate, but here I was, like, and I could sell a course on like, oh, here's me being disciplined, guys. Please give me $97, and people would pay me because it sells the lifestyle. When actually, I think these pictures right here show you what real discipline is. No one's going to buy a course from like this ugly looking motherfucker with like clapped beard, clapped hair and stuff. But this is what real discipline is. Age 17 or 18 on the left. This is me getting into weightlifting and first starting to bulk. And now I'm not attractive. I've got weird, like I've got no fucking jawline there, fat cheeks and everything. I think I was like mid eating like a packet of crisps or something, so my face looks like a bit fucked because I'm like mid swallow. No homo. But look at the dark bags underneath my eyes and anything. This is a picture of discipline, because this was 17-year-old me actually doing something productive for the first time in my life, that I was bulking and going to the gym. This picture here is of the worst chapter of my life when I was 21 years old. Smoking weed every day, horrible diet. You all know that story of me. The reason why I put this one here is because this is actually some of the most like time that I used the most discipline of my life. Really think about it. Although this was the most degenerate of my life, the fact that I had the desires and I was making a little bit of progress, and I was making the habit tracker, and I was trying to quit weed, porn. This is the picture in a weird way that symbolizes discipline more. And this one here, this is like, I've just posted a video, so maybe you want to watch it after this lecture, of a video titled YouTube is Saturated. And it's basically me from this video here when I'm like 21 years old, talking about my YouTube dreams, and you see like little vlogs of me making it as a YouTuber. And in this particular video, it's a Sunday, and I'm literally saying I'm going to go quit my job tomorrow. And that's an active discipline there. And guess what? I was high as fuck in this picture, in this video. I was blazed as fuck, right? So it seems weird for me to say like, oh yeah, this is a discipline moment, but it's about what is the hard thing for you right now. So you can see a picture of me where I'm jacked, but what you don't see behind the curtains is that I have been slacking on my diet, that I've stayed up late, that I've been a degenerate. These are the real moments of discipline that I've seen in my life that have really, like months after this picture was taken, that's when my life changed. This one right here, anyone know when this one exactly was from? The far right one. All of the Adonis school, or even the Adonis Academy OGs will remember. Basically, earlier last year, 2023, I came home from Thailand again for like the fourth time in my life, and basically didn't get a haircut, didn't trim my beard, and just fucking worked 12 hours every single day to start making real money in my life. And I went from making, like, profiting almost nothing, actually being in the negative, like being in debt basically, to profiting close to £100,000 per month. I fully did like another monk mode, even though I was already successful, even though I already had 2 million subscribers, let my hair grow out, didn't give a fuck, everything optimized for business. And literally now, I've got the clean hair and stuff, but like, I'm here today and you are here today because of the work of this version of me right now. He was here because of this version. He was here because of this version. He was here because of this version. This is just like a quick side note I just wanted to show you at the beginning. You know that part of you that you hate the most? Well, so write it in the chat. When is it? Like, you could probably tell me a certain month or a certain period. Maybe it was high school. Maybe it was the last year of high school. It was May 2020 or some shit. Like, there's a particular part of you that you probably fucking hate. And you know what's interesting? That's actually the part of you that got you where you are today. That's the part of you that had to use the most discipline in your life. Because for you right now, here's one of the interesting things. You're not using as much discipline as you think you are. If I'm assuming correctly, that you're not in degenerate mode anymore. If you're not in like full on Jeffrey Goblin mode anymore, you're probably not being as disciplined as you are. You know why? Because you enjoy the things that we're working on now. It's like the guy who goes to the gym, uses discipline first, builds up the body, starts enjoying the gym, but then thinks he's disciplined when actually he actually enjoys it. It's just that other people don't enjoy the gym, so he feels disciplined. But he's still slacking on his, like, I don't know, his sex life or some shit, or his business, or his religious practice or whatever. So I just, when I was putting the main pictures for this, I just found that so interesting that the most disciplined parts of my life are actually the parts which I was most embarrassed about, up until I look back with a sense of gratitude. The reason why I've got this picture here, this was actually my walk to work. Who'd want to walk down this at 11:50 p.m. for £9 an hour? All the OGs know this picture because this was like this was me in the trenches, bro. Making it out of hell this was the second channel I posted it there, right? So imagine it's 11:50 p.m. and I'm walking to work. I work in a homeless accommodation shelter where one guy who was there has just been gang raped and he's got HIV. And that's when I learned that there's like a pill that you can take to stop spreading HIV. And those men who gang raped him didn't take it. And so he's got HIV and AIDS for the rest of his life. There's another time when, well, every fucking night that I'd work there, that the homeless guys would bang on each other's doors, end up stood outside of our building, and I'd see them on CCTV, genuinely like 17 crackheads. And they'd just walk into the darkness of the night at like 4 a.m. And I used to think, like, I used to almost like pray and think, like, I really hope some woman or some young man doesn't walk past them because that's fucked. And they'd come back with possessions. They'd come back, like, one of them would be holding 2 bikes on one hand, another bike on his left hand like this. They'd be holding full on, you know, like the expensive Mac monitors. Every single one of them holding some big shit, monitors, computers, like full on desktop fucking PC and shit like that, like wires dangling down, holding like 3 laptops and everything. Basically, they'd go out with the intent to like go rob from the students. Anyone from Manchester will know this shit happened. This is Fallowfield, and anyone who knows about this place will be like, yeah, it's fucking Rob Central. They'd walk out with like machetes and shit and rob people, right? And then here's me, little brown kid, trying to like fucking make a business, like trying to be a YouTuber on the bottom floor. I'm like literally locked away thinking, oh, these guys are fucking crazy, right? This was a period of discipline, because this was basically this version of me right here who decided to endure this so that I could make my business. Because before this, I was working full time in like a comfortable job that wasn't allowing me to develop as a businessman. And then, yeah, this is one of the homeless guys using nunchucks outside and on the CCTV. And then this is around that same time I was posting onto YouTube and I got 40 subscribers. The stories I have from that place are fucked, right? But I'm telling you about this because, like, imagine the discipline required where it was a night shift, first of all. I had to go in this scary fucking environment. Couldn't even afford to get Ubers there or back, so I had to like walk in Crackhead Central as well. And then I would take my laptop there and try to like work on the night shift. Obviously, I wasn't getting any fucking deep work done in that kind of like PvP-enabled zone, cortisol flying through the roof. But this was like the most disciplined that I've probably been in my life because it was stressful. It was hard. So just type 1 in the chat. Anyone kind of relate to like your life is fucking stressful as hell right now. Parents are on your ass. You've got studies. You've got like this mental problem right now. You've got this addiction. You've got this girl that's like fucking annoying your brain and everything. This is when you need discipline the most. So there's 3 things that are required for a young man for business and for life: discipline, delayed gratification, and dopamine. And I want to walk you through all of them. Discipline, what I'll do is I'll mostly skip over discipline because I have a full discipline guide. I think it's the same picture on my main channel, and I swear it's like 2 or 3 hours long. But basically, discipline is doing the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. I'll break this down more. I searched for discipline in this like AI picture generator, and I pictured this thing, which is like, it just looks weird as fuck, right? School shooter. I don't know whose fucking hand that is there. Like, I don't know what he sat on as well, like big wide load or some shit. But this is, I don't know if this is discipline for anyone else. I found that funny as fuck, bro. Discipline is doing the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. There's a reason why I say this sentence in every video that I record for young guys. This word right here. I used to journal a lot when I was going through like, you know, those bad days, like this period of me. And I eventually wrote down, still to this day, the most important sentence that I wrote down, which was, I guess I need to get used to doing the hard work even when I don't feel like it. Because all of my struggles when I was getting into business, I was getting into fitness, I wanted to attract girls, I wanted to make money, I started to realize that all of my struggles were coming because of the fact that I was listening to my feelings and my feelings were telling me not to work. And it was like a paradigm shift when this one moment I realized, what if I just don't listen to my feelings? I don't feel like working right now. What if I just like don't listen to it and just work anyway? And then that was like a kind of a cool moment. Then I understood the concept of discipline. Okay, well, that's obviously discipline. And that is when something just clicked and I felt so positive because I was like, wait. So you're telling me that every time I don't feel like doing the work, that is an opportunity now. That's a chance to level up my discipline skill. Who's played like MMORPGs back in the day? Like games where you got like levels and skills and you got to grind XP or some bullshit, right? Or the virgins typing 1 in the chat now. Yeah, me too, boys. So you grind this shit. Okay, you start and you're level 1, and to get to level 2, you need 80 experience, and then to get to level 3, you need like 300 experience. To get to level 70, you need like 1 million experience. You know, it compounds. You need to grind this thing, right? What I've realized is discipline is a skill just like a video game, but you need to be in a specific moment of life to be able to get any experience in the discipline skill. Let me draw this out for you. So what we want is XP. Everyone's familiar with these terms, aren't we? Like XP is like experience, right? And we want this in our discipline skill. Let's say right now we're all like level, like, I don't know, 21. The only way that you can get more discipline is on those moments when you don't feel like it. You've got to like break this down in your mind. Literally, you can only be more disciplined if you don't feel like it. So do you not want to go and like sign up for more shit like that? Do you not now see like this empowering feeling of that is my opportunity? I want to be a more disciplined man, because if there's one trait of masculine men, it is just discipline. It's overlooking our emotions and getting the work done. It's as simple as that. If I had to distill masculinity in one trait only, I'd say first and foremost, discipline. This is the most important thing. This is the thing that's going to make the difference between you actually sitting down and doing the work and making the money and retiring your parents, or you just doing nothing and you just basically listening to your feelings and fapping again. So we're all at a fairly decent level of discipline, 22, 21 to, I don't know, fucking 40 or some shit, right? You've got to have the moments when you don't feel like doing the good thing. So the next time you don't feel like doing the good thing, don't get upset at that. Smile, because that's your opportunity to just turn on discipline and do it anyway. Many of you, be honest right now, type 1 in the chat. Do you get kind of pissed off when like you don't feel like doing the thing and it's like this mental hurdle and you're like, oh man, you know, like, oh, but I don't, you know, I'm tired, or I don't want to go gym, or I don't want to do the work and stuff. It kind of upsets you, right? Can you not just change your brain to think, wait, the next time I'd be typing 1 in the chat right now, I'm going to smile and think like this was the opportunity. It's like in a video game. Imagine you've just pressed like the teleport button and now you're in the arena of discipline. But you can't train discipline 24/7. You can only do it when you're in the arena of discipline. It's when the feelings are basically telling you don't do it. That is when you have the opportunity to level up your discipline skill and get experience. But the problem is when we're in this mode, this training mode, what do we do, boys? What do we do? You've been teleported to the training ground of discipline, and we end up running away from it, don't we? We end up like just not getting the experience of the skill, and we just waste the opportunity. You didn't feel like going to the gym, and so you just kind of don't. You didn't feel like working on your business, and so you just watch some like Hamza YouTube videos. Any of you do that? I know some of you motherfuckers do that, right? You didn't feel like doing anything productive, and so what you do is don't lie, because I know most of you do this. You needed to do the real big work, but you didn't feel like it because your little gay ass emotions told you not to. So then you're like, oh, you know what? That work, it's kind of productive if I don't do it right now. And actually, the really productive thing is if I just go and watch more content. Like that's the answer, right? And you should start fucking coping to yourself, watching the newest Tape podcast or something. Oh, but you know, he might say another fact, bro. I'll leave discipline here. If you think that discipline is your constraint in life, like it's the big thing you really want to focus on, just go search Hamza Discipline on YouTube. And I've got I don't know how long it is. It's like a 2-hour, 3-hour long full guide. So just go and have a look at that. And that's me breaking it down in this concise full guide, everything. But I really wanted to bring it up and because I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it here. Next thing is delayed gratification. This understanding of delayed gratification honestly changed my life forever. I didn't realize like how improving your life worked. And the moment I mapped this out for myself, that's when I actually the veil was pulled back. The secrets were pulled back. If you want to improve your life, this is exactly how to do it. Oh, sorry. The drawings are from my girlfriend as well. These are from her. And then this is my one over here. So this is how improving your life works. You go, and this links very much into dopamine as well. It's basically the same thing. But basically, this is where we are right now in, let's say, positive emotions. When you want to grow, 99 times out of 100, let's say, okay, this is obviously going upwards and this is going down, right? This is like good feelings, we can say, good feelings. When you want to grow as a man, just type 1 in the chat. Who wants to grow in the man? Don't be the cringe motherfucker who's going to type 2 or some shit, right? Basically all of us, right? When you want to grow as a young man, you must understand this. This is where you're currently at right now. You basically almost every time it needs to go like this. Your positive emotions go down and then it goes like this. And you've got now a new baseline. Notice how this new line up there is higher than this one. This is how growth works as a man in business, in many things. You have to basically take a hit first, and then you slingshot past your current baseline. It's just that people are too afraid to experience this. What does this remind you of? Like, in what areas have you done well where you experienced this? Give me some specific moments. For me, the first thing I think of is muscle soreness. Anyone else feel that? You feel the muscle soreness, you feel like, the strain of pushing hard in the gym, and it feels kind of negative, hurt while. Even your muscles are technically weaker when you've just trained them, right? So everything's went downhill. But then what happens 24 hours later? You skyrocket, you slingshot back up with the recovery. And someone said loneliness. That I didn't even consider that, but that's actually a really true thing. You get onto, who's experienced this very thing? You get onto self-improvement, you follow my advice, your social skills actually improve, and yet your social life goes down when you followed my advice. Who's experienced this? Your social life has went down since you got onto self-improvement, even though your social skills have technically improved because you're about here right now. You're here. Now, for all the guys typing 1, have you been putting in the work into this? Have you been DMing a few people a day? Have you been like messaging a few people on Adonis School, going on to calls with them? Have you met anyone up in real life? Be honest. Because it's on how fast you shoot upwards is determined by those actions. So this is, for us guys, I don't think many of us are afraid to experience this dip, right? I think many of us understand muscle soreness, everything, right? I think for many of us, we don't bring ourselves back up fast enough. Because if you're really honest, type 1 in the chat if you really think that you have hit your potential for how social you really could be in Adonis School. How many, have you met 10 guys from Adonis School so far? Have you organized that at least? Have you organized your own call with someone? With 50 calls with the same guy? Have you organized your own accountability partner? Have you come to the meetups that I've done every now and then? For many of us, we've experienced the dip and we're kind of used to, self-improvement, we have a dip of pain. But for many of us, we're kind of going up, but not as quickly as we could do, right? Not as quickly. And it's all under your control how quickly this goes back up above the original baseline. For me, especially with social life, because it's like one of the things that we don't actually prioritize as young men, is like male friendships. It took me a while. It took me a solid, probably like over a year to really get like a really good level where it was above the baseline. And then another year after that, or even 2 years after that, when it was basically my social life now is like sharply above the baseline before self-improvement. And that's what I want for you. You've got to stay dedicated to this. So I'd wonder right now, where do you think you are in terms of whatever your goals are in this graph right now? Where are you here? Are you at the baseline because you haven't taken action? That's number one. Are you on the dip right now and you're kind of like in the pit of despair? That's number two. Are you going back up after the pit of despair? Or basically, have you like now neutralized and you need the next painful dip after that? Where are you right now? Wherever number you type, just look at the next part of the graph and assume what you need to do. So if you're at number one, then take some action and then you'll experience the pain. So go to the gym, experience the pain of being in the gym. If you're at number two and you've experienced the pain, you've had to, give up time to be in the gym, you've had to cut out bad friends before, you've had to sit down and do the work and you didn't really want to. You've got to grit your teeth and keep fucking doing it and not quit here. Because this is one of the things I ended up saying to like I have a coach as well, right? I have like a creator coach who helps basically big YouTubers to keep like their mental health sane and everything. And we spoke about like therapy and healing trauma. And I said to him, like, it's something that I don't really want to do because it hasn't been that effective. And he asked why. And I said, because I do it every now and then it brings up like so much pain. So basically I do it every now and then, I get all the pain, and then I just lose so much interest, and also it's so much pain, flashbacks, everything, that then I kind of get demotivated and then just stop the process here. And as I said it to him, I just thought of how retarded that was. Basically what I'd been doing with trying to heal trauma for the last few years was I was experiencing the dip and then just stopping and then just experiencing the dip again. Literally, like, this has been my graph of growth like this for the last few years in terms of healing trauma. And I was like, oh, that's so retarded. That's like going to the gym once a month and doing a brutal leg workout. You've got all of the pain, but since it's low volume, you're not going to make any more of the gains now. And he was laughing his head off. I was like, yeah, that's actually so fucking stupid. That's the moment that I started to look into like breathwork, yoga, everything. And I actually made a really good amount of progress after that. Anxiety in relationships went down, happiness up, sleep's improved, everything. So W's in the chats for me, boys. I might do a healing trauma guide soon, actually, because I've learned a lot about that. But yeah, the trauma is the same thing, man. It's like you're here right now at this baseline. You've got these somewhat hidden problems from childhood and everything. And when you start to really look into it, that's when your mental health will sharply dip down. Like, it's so weird. If you go and do the right things like breath work, if you do the right things like therapy or whatever way you want to try and heal trauma, you'll experience that massive dip first, where you'll start to get so many random flashbacks. You'll start to get more nightmares. It's crazy. Like, when I discuss trauma, or when I used to, it was straight after that where I'd start to get nightmares about my family and all this weird shit would happen, because it's like the dip comes, the pain comes there. The reason why you need to know about this is because the growth often comes after the pain. Can you guys think of any areas where this isn't the case, where there isn't pain, like the dip before the growth? Can you think of any areas? I'm trying to think right now. I really can't think so. Even with something as wholesome as, like, let's say mindfulness meditation, right? It's still the dip, right? It's still, in a weird way, it's still kind of painful there and then, isn't it? You guys understand that, right? It's still kind of like uncomfortable to meditate, and then you get better after that. For learning, maybe at least for me, that's the only thing where like there isn't the dip, because I actually really enjoy it. So that's one of the interesting things. If you've got something which puts you in a flow state, if you've got something that you really enjoy, you often don't get the dip. You literally just get more positive. So this is like reading for me. My life is better and there's no pain to read at all, because it's actually genuinely enjoyable. But I'd say 99 times out of 100, most things have this like dip first in your growth. So your practical lesson from this is to think about whatever your goals are right now. Write your goals out quick. Let me just see what they are. I'm assuming one of them is going to be 10K a month. So all you motherfuckers want to make 10K a month. Yeah. 10K a month, 10% body fat. These are some of the most common goals we have as young men. 2K a month, 1K a month, mental freedom, MMA fight, get more experiences. Nice, get out of debt. Pay for a quarter of my dad's. We've got some wholesome fucking goals, man. I like this. These are very intelligent goals, man. They're not as like general as most young men have. Closer to Dean, build an agency and help chiropractic skill. Handstand, nice. Practice self-love. With most of these goals, you must acknowledge that when you're taking action on this, you're gonna experience this dip. So foresee this right now. This is an action step we can all do together. Think about, just close your eyes and just think about the achievement of your goal right now. Just play the mental movie of the exact moments when you realize you've actually achieved that goal. Maybe it's checking the bank balance. Maybe it's looking at your physique in the mirror. Maybe it's sending your parents the money. That exact moment, right? Now, before you get to that end goal, think of the potential pain points, the failure points to there. Think of the failure points. So maybe with building the physique that you want, the failure point that you could play in your mind is you being stood in the kitchen when your mother's just brought home some snack or some unhealthy food, and that's potentially where you could have fucked up. Think of the pain points as well. Think of the delayed gratification, the discomfort, where for you to build the physique that you want, you're going to have to be doing leg extensions for 15 reps and your quads are going to feel like they're fucking exploding and you're gritting your teeth. You're going to have to experience that pain for this. You can't avoid that discomfort for most of these goals that we've set, particularly for things like gym and business. Go on, you can open your eyes. This is a very powerful practice as well. I didn't actually think I'd speak about this, but just foreseeing the failure. This is called foresee failure. Foresee failure and foresee the pain points that you're going to go through. Because many guys expect life to go like this, don't they? They expect to get onto NoFap and then they just think that they're on NoFap now and it's just, it's rainbows time, right? It's all good, right? What they're not expecting is you get onto NoFap and that's the day that you basically keep relapsing, like fucking constantly relapsing. You start relapsing more when you're on NoFap than before, right? So it's like you've got to acknowledge that you're going to go through that pain so that you can go from it. Because if you've got the wrong expectation for this hard work, you're not going to be prepared for it. Any questions on delayed gratification? What about the opposite? Yeah, that's what we'll do. So now we'll talk about instant gratification. Instant gratification is basically the exact opposite of this. That's where we start at the baseline and we get spike up of pleasure. So this is basically our pleasure right now. And we get a spike of it going upwards. What happens after that spike of pleasure, boys? You're watching porn, feels good. How do you feel after that? Dip. Dips below the baseline. That's the most important point. Below the baseline. Now we feel kind of bad, right? It's already relapsed today. First nut of the day. It's only 11 a.m. What are we going to do after that? What are we going to do on this 11 a.m.? We've already nut. Are we just going to be on monk mode after this? Or are we going to go and do more pleasurable activities as well? So we get another little spike of dopamine, little spike of pleasure, and it goes down. And then our baseline's lower. And then we're going to eat some junk food and it goes down. And we're going to fap again and it goes down. And we're going to go message that girl even though she doesn't even like us and we won't leave her alone and it goes down and it goes down. We get these little spikes, but it keeps going down, it keeps going down, it keeps going down. And you get to this bit where your new baseline is way lower than it was originally. And when you are here, you experience the worst emotion that you could possibly feel. Anyone know what that is? What's the worst emotion? Worse than depression? Shame. You feel shame because you look at yourself like you're an asshole because you did this to yourself. You are here right now looking at this version of you thinking you're a dick. Anyone somewhat relate to that? You look at like yourself from like, oh, you remember looking at yourself months ago, maybe in school and wondering like, why the fuck didn't you just work harder? Why the fuck did you just like play so much video games? Why did you fap again? It's like you fap, you enjoy the little fucking, I don't know what that was supposed to be, the little nut for like a few seconds. And straight afterwards, you're upset at that version of you thinking, why did you just do that? The pleasure just went away within seconds. And now I'm just now I'm worse off. Now I'm at day 0 again. It's like the day when you've been checking off the gym days and then you don't go in a certain day and you could have went, and the next day you go, but you look back and just think like, why the fuck didn't you like eat the right calories yesterday? You could have just like done it for me. And when you have too many of these shameful days, that, in my opinion, this is how depression is caused. I don't believe in any kind of chemical depression, but I also don't believe in like Andrew Tate's like depression isn't real. I 100% think depression is real. I think that this is how depression is caused. It's caused by this lowering of your baseline of pleasure because of these spikes here. And then your baseline of pleasure is so low that basically you have depressive symptoms. So what do? How do we cure depression? Pills and anti-meds, yeah. How do we cure depression? Well, it's as simple as just doing the exact same thing. It's the pain, right? We've got to go through the pain and go climb upwards. And what's interesting is, imagine here, like, let me draw a different one. So here's our baseline when we were innocent children, and then we started to play video games and did all this bullshit, right? That's when we discovered porn, and we got to about here, and we're about here, right? And then this is like where we like our low depression era. This is what self-improvement looks like. That's the point that you discovered, probably around here. This is when you discovered my videos. Anyone relate to that? Basically, completely, this relates to them. Type 1 in the chat. This is basically when you discovered self-improvement, you discovered Hamza Ahmed. And I helped you to go back up this way here. Interestingly, when you look back at this period, it doesn't traumatize you, does it? If you remember those specific days, do you remember how hard it used to be to resist porn originally, or video games, or bad food? Do you remember, like, it felt like a full-time job, right? But when you really like think back to these moments, how do you think back to them right now? It's with gratitude. It's like you picture a happy moment. It's interesting, isn't it? These were painful points here, these dips. They were genuinely painful, and yet the memory that you have was pleasant. It was beautiful. How about these moments of pleasure here? When you look back at these like moments of pleasure, how do you feel about those? They felt so good, right? You felt so good ejaculating a few years ago. that I was a dickhead. Now it's nothing. My sister used to say this to me, bro, when I was younger. And I'd be eating some snacks. She kept on saying to me, a moment on the lips, forever on the hips. She knew about delayed gratification before any of us did, bro. She was based as fuck. A moment on the lips, forever on the hips. What is she saying there? When we eat the junk food, here's us, like, I don't know, eating some like ice cream or some bullshit. When we eat the junk food, how long does it taste good for? Like, really quantify it. How many seconds or minutes do we feel good for? 5 seconds, right? 5 seconds per like spoonful of ice cream. How long does it feel bad for? Maybe the entire next day, a lifetime, really, if you keep doing it. But probably solid like days or even years if it compounds, right? So we fuck up our future selves for like 5 seconds of like feelings right now. Like just a different kind of I just wanted to feel something. Like it's strange, isn't it, that we know how impermanent feelings are, and we'll replace our future selves' pride and fulfillment with dissatisfaction and depression. It's actually incredible that we do that, isn't it? So there's something I've been toying around with, which I think is a really easy way, especially for many young men who are closer to like the start of their journey. Don't trust your emotions. Don't trust emotions. Because your emotions have been hijacked. Your emotions are no longer your own. If this was back in the caveman days and you told me you had a gut feeling that guy was suspicious, we'd listen to your emotion there and would take it seriously. But they have fucked your brain and your gut microbiome so much that now we can't trust it. You've got seed oils, like you've got fucking weird mucoid, placoid. This detox protocol that I've been doing, I've shit out like stringy beans. Soon I'm going to be like sticking like pills up my butthole, like it's a whole like suppository thing. And I'm going to like shit out weird stuff that is inside of us. It's like mucus and stuff that's just been and plaque it stayed inside of us for years. Soon I'll be shitting out like little green balls that are like it's just weird shit that we've got in sorry Greg. It's like weird shit that we've got inside of us. And you don't realize that you've got this too. You know, all of us have parasites, like weird fucking parasites inside of us right now that you can do, like you can take stuff so that you'll literally shit out like a live tiny little worm. How weird is that? All of us have got weird shit right now. Some of us have got fillings in our teeth. Anyone got anyone got like a silver filling in our teeth right now? Mercury poisoning. You're at least 10% more retarded because of that. Think about how fucked that is. You're at least 10% more retarded. Go and search up mercury poisoning in fillings. You are 10% basically mentally disabled because of that. You're fucking retard, bro. You're not even close to your potential because of that. You don't even realize that we've got weird stuff in this. That this is like a spiritual thing. Is like this, like this. There's a thing called the pineal gland, which is apparently like basically kind of like our spiritual center, and toothpaste calcifies it and basically covers it. So this thing is seen as our third eye, which you might have heard of in like spiritual and religious texts. Basically the thing that's supposed to connect us to like God. And stuff in toothpaste destroys this part of our brain. What I'm saying is we can no longer trust our emotions. The way you feel cannot be trusted. Because nowadays, if you told me that guy looks suspicious, you've got a fucking mercury filling, you've got a parasite in your butthole right now. It's like, bro, you like, no one can trust you, right? It's like you're like, we are like half the testosterone and twice the ADHD of our grandparents. We're like these weirdly, like, who's no offense, but whose fucking physique looks like this with like fucking titties, wide, sexy hips there? Who looks like a fucking little feminine woman here? Who's got sexy hips here? Don't lie. Many of you do. Who's got fucking bitch titties here? Don't lie. Don't type one in the chat. Spam one for the gyno boys, bro. Many of you have got fucking gyno, right? Many of you have got bitch titties, right? Think about how fucked our bodies are when we are young, fighting age male, and we have developed like women. At least 10 of us here have got titty mass. At least 10, man. Honestly, at least like 20 or 30 of us have got like, the sexy love handles that like a curvy woman does. Think about how fucked that is, man. How crazy that we've all got skinny arms naturally, and we've got this weird like thick hip there, weird like bloated stomach there. What I'm saying is, don't trust your emotions. The modern world has led us to a point where we cannot trust our emotions, so what do you put your trust into? Basically, put it into the discipline plan. Put it into the moments of clarity. For me, this is at like 6 p.m. It's when I sit down and I logically think about the next day and what tomorrow's Hamza should do for Hamza the next day. Because current me is an asshole. Current me, still to this day, when I go and live through my normal life, wants to make bad choices. I want to eat snacks. I want to watch porn. Of course I do. Some of those feelings sometimes that they go away for sometimes, and sometimes they don't. Current me is an asshole, and you should know this right now. Current you is a fucking asshole. So you should be preparing for that at usually nighttime and setting this disciplined plan, this delayed gratification plan for tomorrow's you, to make sure that version of you isn't an asshole for the next version of you. So that this version of you here only has to follow the plan that you set out with a clear mind. And anything this version of you disagrees with, he's just being a dick and he needs to shut up. That's what I like to do. It's like, okay, so this is now, let's say this is tonight, right? This is an actionable step for you to start implementing, because this really helps me. This is called Plan Tomorrow Today, where tonight, just before bedtime, you think, look over your schedule and plan the exact day for tomorrow. And the idea is that tomorrow's version of you cannot have any say in the schedule that you have set out for him. So you've said, okay, he's going to record this video, he's going to do this, he's going to do these things, right? So record, write this thing, and do this thing. You plan this with this disciplined mindset because you're able to look at a different version of you, like tomorrow's you, and think, yep, this is what he should do. When you plan that, then tomorrow, what's going to happen is your version of you tomorrow is going to disagree with this shit and tell you like, oh, no, I think I'll just do that. I'll just do that like tomorrow. Yeah, I'll just give that to like tomorrow's Hamza instead. I don't need to do this. But you can have this mindset. No. Any reason that I give to not do these few things that like younger me just said is just simply an excuse. Shut the fuck up, operate. That's it. It's like pilot mode where we're setting the destination, and then plane mode when we're just enacting on the plan that the pilot set for us. Automated, no feelings. Nobody asks you about your feelings. Shut the fuck up. Tick off the boxes. Simple as that. And then at the end of the day, plan tomorrow today and just do it all over again. This has been one of the greatest discipline tactics for me. If I haven't gotten into planning tomorrow today, I would be so lost, because otherwise you guys know what happens. It's basically if you just go through your normal day, here's your normal routine, you wake up like 7 a.m. or something, and you don't have much of a plan other than a vague understanding that, you go to school or whatever for a little bit of time, like you got work or something. You start doing shit that you feel like. You think about doing that task and you very easily say no to it, and you end up doing the easier thing instead. Anyone relate to that? Type 1 in the chat. For the guys typing 1, this is because you haven't set a very clear one. Like step 1 is set the plan. So plan tomorrow today. But then number 2 is tomorrow's you, tell him to shut the fuck up. Basically, plain you. We're pilots at nighttime when we make the plan, but then plane, like you understand the analogy, right? So the pilot sets the destination, then you're the plane who just follows the destination. When you're the plane, you don't get to speak. You just have to check the box. Otherwise you're a pussy. Simple as that. Doesn't matter what you say. You're going to come up with some cool ideas and shit. I'll do this. No. You have to have accountability with yourself and to think, okay, if I don't check these boxes off tomorrow, I'm a pussy. Like when I'm in plane mode, I'm just gonna act out these boxes. If I don't do it, I'm a pussy. It's as simple as that. This is a really powerful tactic. I learned this from Ali Abdal, actually. He had like a course on this ages ago. And this was such an interesting way, because I had been using this kind of mindset myself, but it was when he used the analogy of the plane and the pilot that I was like, oh, that makes sense. So pilot mode at nighttime at like, what time do you guys go to sleep? Like 8 p.m. or some shit. And then plane mode for the rest of the day for like tomorrow. Like that. This helped me more than I can actually explain to you, to basically schedule those delayed gratification activities in for me. Because when I didn't plan my days like this, I had this vague idea of the things that I would do, and I just wouldn't do them because current me would just cope too easily. Anyone like feel that? Like you're just so fucking good at coping that you can tell yourself, you never tell yourself, I'm not going to do that thing because I'm a pussy. You tell yourself, oh, I'm not going to do that thing for this weirdly purposeful reason that I'm not actually a pussy, but it's because of this, like, this important reason why I'm not going to do the real work, right? You're very good at coping. So you need to set this hard rule. Basically, if you make any decisions during the day as the plane, you're being a pussy. Simple as that. Just literally just remind yourself that Hamza's calling you a pussy right now. As soon as you say, I'm not going to need to check off these boxes, what would I look at you? Because you can cope to yourself, but it's very hard. This is why men need to live together. Because imagine you tell me at nighttime you're going to do these 4 things, and imagine we're living together, and in midday you're like, oh, well, actually, Hamza, I'm not going to hit the workout today because if I hit it tomorrow and I just do 2 workouts instead, I'll be like, shut up, man, you pussy, bro. Why are you being a retard? Oh, if I hit 2 workouts tomorrow instead, like it's so easy to be able to cope when you're by yourself. But this is why there's beauty in community. This is why if you can go and start messaging someone that you really like, and you start hopping on calls with them, and you literally tell them like, oh yeah, I was gonna go for a workout, but I don't really feel like it. I feel like I'm coping. Do you think I'm coping? If your friend calls you a pussy, then you feel bad about it, and you get into that more of that Andrew Tate mode, and you're like, oh yeah, well, I don't want to be a pussy. I want to go and do the delayed gratification things, right? I don't want the instant pleasure that just makes me feel worse in the long run. Any questions on instant gratification? In fact, let me relate this to business for you. This is where it gets interesting as fuck, right? So instant gratification in terms of business, and we'll do delayed as well. Delayed gratification for business. What would this look like for a YouTuber? Sponsorship. Looking at the analytics and just looking for dopamine. Podcast invites as well. This is something that I've been quite adamant on. Going on podcasts and getting distracted. So when I hit 100K, 200K, 300K, the amount of big podcasters that wanted me to come around and do a podcast episode with them, and I said no to, because I knew that that was just instant gratification. I knew that that would feel good right now, but I knew for a fact that that would basically distract me in the long run. There's a story of, I think it's Michael Jordan, that he's starting to become like the world's best basketball player. But then soon he's so famous that he's doing all these sponsorships for like Nike and all this stuff. And he's going to these events where he has to speak there and everything. And he's staying up late and stuff. And his game starts actually going down. And then he quits all of it. Because he remembered to keep the main thing as the main thing. He realized that all of this was instant gratification, kind of like a pleasurable thing right now. But if you get distracted from the main thing, your life goes down afterwards. So the delayed gratification thing is like just sitting down and doing the fucking work. Sit down plus work. It's the infinite game where you've got the better mindset and you're thinking, you know what, if I'm growing a bit slower, but I'm actually attracting like really good fans, that's actually the better way. When you make these kinds of decisions, the instant gratification decisions, you will regret them. You should really ask yourself what decisions you're making in business right now. So for example, for delayed gratification, we could say hiring, because that hurts right now, right? Your money goes down from that point. But if you hire someone good, then your business goes up. Particularly, we'll say like video editors for a YouTuber. That can be really nice. Any other examples before we move on from this? Anything that comes to mind that any of you have felt very recently when it comes to business, instant and delayed gratification? Yeah, and investing. So Stefan's just said Loom membership. We'll put like investing into your business as well. Anyone like followed the cult leader protocol, made the school community and thought, oh, damn, it's $99 a month. Damn, like one in the chat. Yeah, so that's the exact same thing. It feels kind of painful right now, right? But you're expecting that it like either with the direct ROI of the money or at least with the lessons and experience, your life should go upwards afterwards. But it's going to have to take that bit of a dip right now, isn't it? My biggest dip in life was I'm not even sure if it was actually that then, but like basically in 2020 when I had a gamer girlfriend, which many guys around the world would have loved. I had my own apartment. I was able to smoke weed, play video games. I was able to like do what I wanted away from my parents. And I decided to basically break up and move back in with my family to the city, like to the small town that I didn't know anyone apart from high school friends who used to bully me and be racist to me. To grow my YouTube channel that had 40 subscribers. Think about that as a dip. And that's what it looks like now. We'll move on to the final thing, which is dopamine. When I learned about this, anyone research the science of dopamine? Just type one in the chat who's seen like the Huberman dopamine podcast and everything. Okay, a fair amount of us. So anyone who isn't typing one in the chat, 100% go search onto YouTube, Huberman dopamine. It's one of the most important podcasts you could ever watch, Huberman dopamine. When he made this podcast, I was so happy because I realized that all of this time, this poorly drawn graph that I had in my mind, this actually represents dopamine as well as delayed and instant gratification. Dopamine is the exact same thing. So dopamine is motivation. It's as simple as that. Dopamine is motivation. It's not like a hormone or anything. It's just as simple as that. Dopamine is motivation, or we can even use the word drive, whatever you prefer. And it works in the exact same way, where when we do something, which is, let's say dopamine is similar to pain/motivation. When we do something that's hard, we feel the pain straight away, but then our dopamine goes up afterwards. So anything that increases your dopamine increases your motivation. And the way to increase dopamine is actually to increase pain. It's so fucked how this like works in life. Basically, pain and discomfort increase dopamine, dedication, motivation, drive, the things that you've wanted as a young man. You've wanted to feel disciplined. The modern world is so comfortable that we don't feel these things anymore. Our houses are perfectly regulated, perfectly sanitized. Many of us, has anyone ever actually like hunted an animal and actually killed it and ate the food the meat that you got from it? Has anyone ever actually like genuinely hunted their own food here? Many of us have never. Had anyone like gutted an animal before? If not, like, you're basically not really a real man then, are you? When you think about it, like, you've never even killed an animal, like a peasant before, a chicken before. When you think about it, every man in your bloodline before you has killed animals to eat the animals. And then there's you when it's just like, oh, I stepped on that snail, guys. Like, oh, like, just pussy, right? So the modern world has kept us so comfortable that dopamine is at this like all-time low, because dopamine comes from these painful moments. Of course, this doesn't mean to just start like fucking hitting yourself for no reason. It's self-harming, but it comes from what I'll say is like a productive discomfort. So there's the difference between literally self-harming, which is of course not a good idea, to, for example, a cold shower, which is a voluntary discomfort, which is actually productive and it's good for you. Like cold exposure, we know for a fact is healthy. And so cold exposure is actually the single greatest way to get a dopamine boost out there. Anyone knows this statistic exactly? How long does dopamine go up for after experiencing cold? 3 hours. So you can get a 3-hour motivation boost, drive boost by experiencing cold. So basically, wake up. You know that meme of like the CEO who has a cold shower, and in like the last year, you guys have seen this, right? The last year, everyone's been making fun of like self-improvement and CEO morning routines and stuff. But it's actually ridiculous, because the amount of depressed motherfuckers who are on antidepressants and shit, who basically, if they woke up and took a cold shower, if every human did that in the world would be a way better place. Simple as that. Experience. It seems like a cute, like cringe, I don't know, internet trend these days, but 100% this is powerful stuff. 100%. Don't like listen to like Alex Hormozi's advice when he says, oh, well, you don't need this stuff to make money. Yeah, of course you don't. But he's optimizing to just be a billionaire for the sake of the status and the symbol, rather than for health. So you probably don't want to live a life like him when your health sacrifices for the money. Because when your like ego's that attached to like, you know, the game and whatever, you can't even enjoy it that much when you're basically like waking up almost like you're hungover every morning because you're tired and stuff. I hate to be rude towards him, but I know many of us look up to him. I'll always say this is go and look at their vlog channel, and look particularly for the Hormozis, and look particularly for the videos where you see them and they've just woken up. They really look like hungover every morning. They walk in like zombies, like so tired. And it's so like he's viral right now going against self-improvement, saying like, oh yeah, none of this stuff works. None of this stuff works. It's like, you don't look healthy. You make a fuck ton of money. That's amazing. I'm going to continue learning from you. But you don't actually look very healthy. You don't even look like you enjoy it that much. And I hope that I don't sound like an asshole for saying this, but it's like you can take really good lessons from a person and understand that you probably don't want the rest of their life. You don't want the seed oils. You don't want like if you watch his cooking videos, they're just horrendous. It's literally just him basically just drinking seed oils is like the summary. It's just seed oils and sugar and then just a bit of protein, and then that's it. And it's like, oh yeah, and hop on TRT as well. It's like you'll get the gains. You can make money without the morning routine. Of course you can. 100% you can. I made a pretty decent physique without any protein, any healthy meals and shit. But this stuff is what makes you feel alive. This is what makes you feel alive, boys. It's not just the money. Like I'm telling you right now, I know that I always go into these rants. I know the money that you want to make right now. I'm telling you, your moment-to-moment experience of life will not change when you have that money. I have probably over 500K in bank accounts right now. I'm still me. It's just a normal day. The difference is whether or not I've had a cold shower that day. The difference is whether or not I've like kissed my girlfriend in a really like passionate, present way that day. If I got sunlight that day. You don't realize how minuscule having some kind of accomplishment is, like the physique, the house, the money, the degree. At 3:14 p.m. on a Tuesday, you often aren't thinking about those things, but you feel better because you took that cold shower in the first thing in the morning. And so what I'm not saying is don't make the money. I'm saying, yeah, make a fuck ton of money. But maybe make it when you feel good. Make it when you live this life of discipline. So you're making the money through, business and everything that's going up. Awesome. But alongside that, do your self-improvement things, delay gratification and boost your dopamine so that your motivation is sky high. Your drive as a young man is sky high. What do we think about motivation? Write in the chat. What are your thoughts towards motivation? Let me see. It's good, helpful tool. It's good to have. Inconsistent, useful but not needed. Consistent. I'm very impressed. because the narrative online has been that motivation is like this evil thing. You've all seen it, haven't you? Motivation's a myth. Discipline's better than motivation. So many people say that, like all these like cute little, it's weird, like these motivational videos will be shitting on motivation, saying, yeah, David Goggins, discipline, motivation. Like, it's just fucked, right? This is my opinion. When people say motivation isn't important, just use discipline, I think they're retarded personally. Because motivation is literally your driving force as a man. It's your feeling of wanting to do the work. So discipline, we've already covered, and we're going to do discipline. Discipline's an awesome thing. It's very needed for men. But if you could feel motivated to do the hard work, that's fucking sick. Why wouldn't you want to? I would never want to live a life where I don't feel motivated to do the things I've got to do every day, because that would be awful. That would be like such a shit existence. Imagine if you woke up and you didn't want to do the things on your checklist. I couldn't imagine living a life like that. Anyone else want to fucking live a life like that? I know that like my business is fucked when I look at my checklist and there's something there that I don't want to do. And sometimes I'm fucking ruthless. I've got a meeting with someone. It's an important thing, bro. I'll text them last minute and tell them I'm not coming. Simple as that. I'm not like, we're in business for freedom, are we not? Is that not the reason why you're considering business? Type 1 in the chat. You're in business for freedom, right? Is that not the biggest fucking reason that you considered this? Why are you building the six-pack? Why are you trying to look good for girls? For the freedom of choice, right? You want to have freedom. You want to have options, abundance in life. That actually comes from motivation, from having the drive to do the things on your checklist. Because imagine living a life where every single day you had to do something that you didn't want to do. You're basically a 9-to-5 slave. And if you're a businessman at that point, well, now you've got the worst boss ever. You've got you, and he's abusive as fuck, and he's telling you to like wake up even earlier than what should be legal. He's telling you to go to sleep. He's bullying you in your own mind. You don't want to be creating this. Stefan said it's a higher level of 9 to 5. I'd say it's a lower level of 9 to 5. You do not want to be creating like a shitter 9 to 5 job for yourself with a lack of motivation. So we want to increase motivation, basically discipline, through doing uncomfortable things, like experiencing discomfort and pain in productive ways. And let's just shoot off, write me a massive list, everyone, right now. What can you think of, just so we can have some ideas? So we've got cold, we'll say gym, exercise, we'll say breath work. These are basically all of the self-improvement-y things then, isn't it? Meditation, healthy food. My handwriting keeps getting worse with every point. Running, exercise, yeah, stretching. Basically, doing the harder thing right now gives you the dopamine. So it's interesting. If we start with discipline and we delay gratification for our future selves, we end up increasing dopamine that just brings it full circle, and we're even more disciplined, or we seem disciplined because we're just motivated. That's why I grouped all three of these together. Plus, it just sounds cool saying it's the Triple D lecture. We've got a few minutes left. Anyone want to ask a few questions we'll go through? Oh yeah, this was the last point I was just going to bring it up to as well. When you go through that discipline monk mode, it literally takes like 2 hours to suddenly change things up and start cashing out. So if many of you are thinking right now, like, oh man, if I go on monk mode, if I go really disciplined, when do I get to enjoy life? It takes only a few hours to basically get a haircut, groom your beard, and to the point that then your girl or any woman for you is literally like swarming over you and thinking, whoa, that's amazing. He looks so sexy and everything. So this monk mode version of me built up the massive capital, built up the profits and everything. And then all I have to just do is literally just like get a haircut and I look good. That's it. So if you are going through those moments of doubt where you're like, oh man, like how do you have fun on self-improvement? How do you, get to look good and get to like experience, the social life and with women and stuff? That stuff, you can click your fingers and add it in. I can genuinely be like socially disabled, honestly. Like I can, like you guys have seen this. Anyone who's been in Adonis school for a while knows I can work 12 to 14 hours days. You motherfuckers have seen this, right? I can go like anti-degenerate mode, like how extreme I used to fap and take drugs. I can do that with work. So I can do that literally not even give a fuck about my hair, my beard, anything, and literally go from like basically zero profit to $100 and something thousand per month profit, and then look like a goblin, feel like an absolute retard. I remember when like I literally stopped going to the gym to only do workouts at home to save an extra few minutes of commuting. And I remember the first gym workout that I did, and I still looked like this. And I went to this fancy gym where there's like a bunch of like girls with fake boobs and, you know, like really like influencer celebrity type of girls. And I was an absolute retard. My first gym session in like 6 months, I'm stuttering. I was like messing up my words to the receptionist. My face cam wasn't even working on, because we have like face scanners in my gym, and it wasn't even working because my beard was so clapped and it'd been so long since I groomed myself. So they had to take a new picture of me, and it was embarrassing. And I had to go in, and my ex-girlfriend was there, and I was like fumbling around my words and shit. And then literally within like 2-3 days, everything looks clean. People are like messaging me again. Girls are holding eye contact again. My girls are thinking I'm looking sexy as fuck again. It's like I'm back to it again. That's it. This stuff, trust me when I say, you can click your fingers and snap back into that social sexy mode very quickly, especially when you've got that success. When you've got the physique, when you've got the money, when you've got that pride because you've worked fucking hard, you can click your fingers and integrate back into that sort of socially accepted version of you. But it's these moments up here. These are the priceless moments. These are the priceless moments. So don't be scared of entering one of these right now. If you've been considering like monk mode, going fucking ham, if you've been considering like buzzing off your hair, like I've done multiple times, if you've been wanting to like, you know, dial everything in and not even go get a haircut at the barbers anymore just so you can fucking focus on your business. It worked for me. And if you're anything like me, I think it'll work for you as well. Yeah, and it got an ear surgery as well. So that was a little lux maxing protocol as well. Yeah, man. What do we think of the lecture, boys? That's all we got time for today. Thank you. Hamza's Triple D lecture. I'm going to go upload the recording for the guys in Adonis gang because I think they really need this shit, especially all the porn talk and everything. Yeah, I appreciate everyone listening in. Thank you for... Oh, hang on. Yeah, thank you for everyone's time today. Let me unmute everyone. Awesome to see our massive turnout recently as well. We've been getting so many guys, 91 live. What do we think of the lecture, boys? You can unmute yourselves now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, boys. Thank you, boys. Right, I'm going to shoot off. Get ready for bedtime. Thank you for listening today, boys. Have a good day. Remember the 3 Ds and make sure you implement them. The next time you feel that pain when you're about to go do a good habit, venture forward, boys. Take care, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Bye-bye.